You. Good morning, everyone. The time being 9 o'clock on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. I'd like to call the King County Finance and Budget Committee meeting to order. Savannah, please do the roll call.
Juby,
Juby here.
Lewis, Surges, Tepe,
Tepe here.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
and Roth.
Ross here also.
You have an in-person quorum.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Do we have anyone here for remote attendance? Committee? Okay. So moving ahead, we'll go to the approval of the minutes for October 29th, 2025.
Tepe, yes, for unanimous consent.
Any objections from anyone? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Moving on to public comment, we have 4 people scheduled to speak. Mr. Steve Leffler will be the first one.
Good morning, Steve Leffler, St. Charles. When I was a young man, my grandfather, Red Leffler, who was quarterback for the 1925 Georgia Bulldogs, very proud of that. And he spent his life selling hats like the one Miss Ellen regularly wears. A little different day and time. And he would send me pretty regularly news clippings from the Orlando Sentinel News down in Florida. And he would circle things and make little notes on them. And I say this because I'm noticing the same thing here in our packets, the supplemental contextual economic data. We got 60 pages of it this time around. And with all due respect, sir, a lot of it makes sense to have in that packet, but some of it doesn't. You know, the things like, okay, the S&P 500 went up $15 trillion since April. It's very important information to know. But also, we should also know that over half of that increase was due to 8 firms that are AI driven. If those 8 firms are in trouble because China produces a new chip, we might have issues. What's not okay is that 4 dead, 9 wounded in Chicago shootings. That doesn't have much to do with it. Or CPS pride guidance, or things about Chicago gangs, or Pritzker's angry violent mob. Those things are just stirring the pot. And with all due respect, sir, you are our county treasurer, and I thank you for the millions of dollars that your work has generated for us in interest payments. But you've narrowed your focus into wire points. And so you've lost your focus. And hence, I'm worried that you're leaving money on the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leffler. Moving on to Mr. Adam Shaver.
Sorry, I thought it was a sign-in for this meeting, but I came here to introduce myself. My name is Adam Schauer. I am the new director for workforce development. I'm on my 2nd week and just wanted to come in and introduce myself and say hello. So, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Ms. Denise Theobald.
Morning. Sorry, I lost my voice. Good morning. 100 pages. 100 pages of political opinion articles, mostly from right-wing advocacy groups like Project 2025's author, the Heritage Foundation, Fox News, Wire Points, Daily Caller. This, Mr. Lawson, is what you call supplemental contextual data in your treasurer's report.
Excuse me, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. Would you like to have somebody else read it?
I think so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think with my
Yeah, you do.
I apologize, everybody.
Don't hurt yourself. Okay.
Okay, I'm reading for her. 100 pages of political opinion articles, mostly from right-wing advocacy groups like Project 2025's author, the Heritage Foundation, Fox News, Wirepoint Substack, and the Daily Caller. This, Mr. Lawson, is what you call supplemental contextual data in your treasurer's report. These were not financial reports. These were partisan commentaries attacking political opponents like Kamala Harris, Governor Pritzker, Tammy Duckworth, and others, along with articles defending ICE, criticizing immigrants and protests. Today's report, 61 pages of Sharpie right-wing political opinion articles, none of which have anything to do with Kane County or finances. If you need to contextualize the financial picture that present real data, then present real economic data in regard to inflation, housing, healthcare, and food costs, how the lack of federal funding and cuts to food assistance and healthcare put financial strain on revenue streams. All that shape budget decisions and revenue projections. Also, what we don't see is your reporting is rate of return. Any professionally managed investment report includes standard performance indicators, year-to-date, 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year returns. Yet month after month, the board still does not receive that essential information in your reporting. Also not reported is clarity on how much of the interest income you continue to highlight is coming from temporary, non-traditional sources, especially COVID relief funds. These funds are expiring, and the public deserves to know how much of the performance you're showcasing is not sustainable in future years. In discussions, you accuse the board of engaging in a bait and switch, yet the only way you personally met your required 2026 expense reduction, after being called out, by the way, was by projecting increased revenue from fines and penalties in your own office. While this is within your right to do, it is still speculative revenue. While other departments actually cut spending, you increased but balanced yours based on hoped-for income. And finally, you repeatedly claim that residents face the largest property tax increase in 2026. You know darn well this county board controls only 4% of residents' Kane County property tax bill, just 4%. The people of Kane County are asking you to please stop verbally attacking the board and its members. Stop using time, energy, and resources and official reports for partisan political campaign purposes. And please, stop misleading the public. If transparency is truly a priority, then answer the questions being asked by the public instead of inventing your own questions and then only answering those. Thank you.
Doing the reading, and thank you, Ms. Theobald, for your comments. Moving on to our next and last public speaker, Ms. Ginger Romano.
Good morning. In respect to the last comment, doesn't the majority of the board do the same outwardly in their meetings, in these meetings here, such as a resolution for sanctuary status for the county? Mr. Lawson only offers a different perspective the legacy media doesn't offer. We go to 7B on the Kane County travel policy audit. A lot of people seem to be getting travel allowances, and I kind of look at all this stuff and I don't know, it seems a little excessive. And then approving personal expense voucher reimbursement request, that's 7C. Some of that, let me see, 7C. Well, it might have to do with the 9D resolution. With these expense vouchers, they kind of need to practice what they preach as far as taking public transportation goes. And then regarding 9L, M, O, and P, I'm wondering if there's not some smoke and mirrors being used here. Just saying, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Romano. Before we move on to the treasurer, I see that Mr. Surgis has joined us via Zoom. I'd like to know if everyone would agree to allow him to attend and vote. Seeing no objections, so welcome, Mr. Surgis.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that.
Moving on to the treasurer's report, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee and members of the public. Before we go into new business and this month's report, I'd like to take care of a little old business. I've asked the board and through its chairman to provide a correction to the written record of a false assertion that I have not complied or I did not comply with the budget procedures. The first letter came from Chairman Parag on October 2nd. It says in the second paragraph, since your department has not yet submitted a revised budget conforming to Resolution 25277, the Finance Committee will be dividing your fiscal year 2026 budget into the following three categories. Then goes into the detail of that. Let's see, 5 days later, I sent back a note to the chairman with copies to the Finance Committee folks, State's Attorney, where I said in the first paragraph, contrary to the inaccurate assertion in your October 2nd, 2025 letter regarding the 2026 budget, the Treasury Office has already complied with the direction from the board and its chairman. 3 paragraphs later, on October 1st, 2025, 1 week later, at 10:44 a.m., I submitted on time and in writing the adjustment to bring in line the Treasury budget as directed by the board. Please increase, and it goes on with the detail. At the September 30th meeting, there was a commitment made on the video from this committee to correct that inaccurate record. And in the 2 months that the record has not been corrected. Then later on in one of the reports in an area titled 2026 Budget Reduction by Office Submitted and Revised, once again, it showed inaccurately, and not by a big amount, but still inaccurately and as if it were out of compliance, my office and budget out of compliance. This would not be a big deal if I didn't understand from 32 years of running campaigns how this is used in the future. And so all I'm asking is for accuracy and to correct the record as was promised 2 months ago in this committee. I guess I would ask the committee, by when would I receive that correction to this historical record?
Is that the end of your report?
Well, it could be. I just would like, when a promise is made, promise is supposed to be kept. And again, I wouldn't be taking this time if a false record had not been created. And for 3 years here, I've seen what people do with false records being created. I don't think it's too much to ask for truth, accuracy.
You know, Mr. Lawson, what I believe we have said at the meeting, if we didn't, then I take blame for that, is that every elected official was in compliance for the budget, including yourself. If there was a statement made earlier that you were not in compliance, and that was corrected, obviously, if you need some sort of a letter from the board chair, or I could do one, I don't know what authority I have, but I'd be happy to do one stating that you're in compliance.
I appreciate that. That's all I ask.
So you just want a letter from the chairman
From
of the
any-
finance committee?
From anyone who has authority of the finances, you, the chairman, only because, and I've known you a lifetime. I know that your word is as good. You can take what you say to the bank. If it hadn't been put in writing, I wouldn't insist. And so I appreciate your offer.
Well, we will get a letter out to you. I don't know if it'll be a week or 2 weeks, but we'll get the letter out to you stating that your department, the treasurer's department, is in compliance.
And was from the beginning. If you check, and I'd be happy to give you these letters that establish history with time dates on them. So, and I'll forward this to
Okay,
you and the
that would be
chairman.
great. We'll try to do it in one letter to your satisfaction.
Right. It's one or two sentences. And
Okay,
I
good.
think that in your sentence, it was just the predicate. It has been and it has been from the beginning.
Okay.
So, thank you. Okay, so Blair, if we could start on page 7 of the report. First of all, thank you very much for the folks who have come from the public. Steve, I especially enjoyed your presentation. Read Leffler's notes to grandchildren, perhaps. Same thing comes from my kitchen table to our grandkids, our kids and grandkids. So I appreciate it. The reason why I send out why crime and distraction in other areas is so important, and why I include it in the context of what we're doing, is that it goes to the tax base, and a vanishing or decreasing tax base. We need a tax base to continue to collect these the property taxes, certainly sales tax, employment taxes are also affected. I understand that I provide a different perspective than what is normally provided. Denise, again, I appreciate your participation in this process, but there have been so many inaccurate statements. Today's just grossly inaccurate is that there's no information about return on investment. I've produced the same report for about 3 years. I'll go through it again today, and it all has to do with return on investment and the detail of that return. So I'll take it through in today's meeting, and it's been very similar to what meetings for the last 3 years have been. And again, I appreciate your, I guess, highlighting what I do and already have done in writing in every single monthly report, and that's all in the Kane County website. So on page 7, we wrapped up the 2024 property tax cycle collected in 2025 this year of $1.6 billion and distributed it to the taxing agencies without incident. This chart shows that we earned over $1,600,000 in interest income last month. If you go to page 8. This chart shows how much stays at the county. That's in the blue portion of the monthly interest income. And then how much goes to the schools, towns, et cetera. Those are in the yellow items. And that's every month for approaching 3 years now. Page 9. This is a form of cumulative accountability. Taxpayers do ask, and they ask when they visit me, what do I have to show for $60 million in 3 years? Page 10. This shows each year's in the when I came here, the interest income, even though the budget was 1.8 million that the board had signed off the year before, the actual interest income was about 5.8 million. And then in the first full year, it was 1.6, or excuse me, 16.9, so call it $17 million. In the second year, it was the over $21 million. And that's return on investment. All of these figures, interest income is return on investment, as most of the people in the public and the board already know. In the third year, I believe that will be in approximately $20,500,000. That's an estimate because we still have a couple of days left in this month, which will then wrap up the fiscal year. We've tried to give a projection on this slide. If you go to page 11, again, I do not know where you're coming from, Denise, when you say, well, there's no comparison versus benchmarks. This chart has been produced by the county for at least 20 years. It goes back to John Schmidt, who was, in the time of Dave Rickards' very beginning. So in what this shows is that all of our performances in Kane County are above their related benchmarks. Page 12. And then for about 9 pages, and again, I don't understand where a written statement delivered by 2 people can say there is no detail about what the return on investment is. This is a listing. This is the summary page of a listing. If you go to the next page, Blair, good. This goes on for about 7 pages, and it is every bond that we hold on your behalf and the details that responsible finance managers put forward, and you're given this every month during the time I've been here. Also, let's see, if you'll go back to page 12, Blair. Yes, thank you. The note there is that there is nearly $3 million of extra on top of the return on investment that's cash on cash in accrued unrealized gain on the bonds we own. So there's a potential capital gain opportunity, but generally speaking, we hold these bonds until they mature and they're relatively short term. If you would go to page 23, one of the charges for the Treasurer's Office is to keep our deposits safe. This is just a brief report of the collateralized bank deposits to back up our deposits at those banks for security purposes. And then finally, if you go to page 25, and on pages 25, 26, just a reminder of, that was just a note between me and Jeannie Lifka in our office, that September interest income was $2,300,000 in 1 month. This is more than the Kane County Board's whole year budget, again, before I got here. If you would go to, then there's several concerns. If you go to page 28, and this is a matter for the board that I think is very important. Most of you have probably read about a class action suit that dates back several years. It's Tyler versus Hennepin County in Minnesota. It's a violation of property owners' Fifth Amendment constitutional right to just compensation when there's a taking. If the government takes, and John Frank certainly could, explain it more clearly than I could. But there is just an awesome and awful power that government has to take a person's home. If taxpayers don't pay the taxes that you levy, there are fine penalties and credit card level interest. If they still don't pay, we conduct a tax certificate sale to recover taxes, penalties, and interest. The tax buyers come and we hold it out in this open area. It's done mechanically, computers, so that there's no bias in who a treasurer would call on. And that was conducted in November of each year. And then after 3 years, if they still don't pay, the tax buyers can file suit in a court to take the property to satisfy those tax certificates or liens on the property. The problem is that when they take a home, take home value in excess of taxes, that money ought to be going back by law, by Constitution, by the Fifth Amendment to the homeowner. We are in Illinois, and this is why I bring it to the board, is that your work through the Legislative Committee and other committees with your delegation, the State Senate, State House, through their revenue committees, this should be addressed. It has not been addressed. Illinois is the last state in the union that collects like we do, where the legislature has not fixed this problem yet. And you say, well, what difference does it make? We got the power, we're exercising it. No, there's still a constitution. I saw a study that I'd be happy to share with anyone who'd be interested, that there's approximately $18 million of a liability, $18 million. Think about where that would come from in your budget. Cumulative and growing, 184 closures of this type in just Kane County. Cook County has about I believe it's 10 times more, but it's a serious problem. It's growing, should be handled, but that's up to you. We'll continue to follow the laws as they're written by the legislature. Could you go to page 32, please? The comptroller has put us all on notice that they're going to collect fines for the annual comprehensive financial reports, the audited financial statements with additional information being late. I know that last couple of years we've been late in, Kane County has been late in filing its financial statements, the ACFRs. If the board is late this year, like the last couple of years, it's going to cost real money. They're actually going to collect a fine, and that's the notification that came into our office. And that's okay. Finally, I have spent the last 2 weekends trying to distill what the board has done in its fiscal year 11/30/26 budget. Because in the end, and you say, well, Chris, that's not your lane. Well, yes, it is. Because in the end, the treasurer's office will have to send out and collect tax bills and write out checks to pay expenses. It's very much in what my responsibilities eventually become. And if and when we run short, I know that the board will look to me to figure out, well, okay, how are we going to pay the bills? And so I'm confused, and I listen to the meetings as attentively as I possibly can. I read the media articles, Tribune and Beacon, and then the Chronicle and Kane County Connects, and just several questions today. If anybody'd like to supply answers, great. If not, they're important questions. And I wonder, if we don't have the answers to these questions easily, then what was voted upon a couple of weeks, within the last couple of weeks? But the question is, how much of the reserves, again, treasury function, how much of the reserves will be used in the next 12 months? I have heard in the meetings, $2 million. Then I read in the newspapers that the estimates are between $6 and $8 million. Now, $4 to $6 million is a huge variance. Just for the record, that's question number one. Number two is that the draft budget that was put on public display is $5 to $7 million, I think, from what I can figure out from what's been printed. It's different than the adopted budget that was passed by the board. Kind of keeps the taxpayers and the board members guessing, certainly not transparent. If I don't get it, I'll bet that at least some board members didn't know what they were voting on in sufficient depth. And then here's a concrete question, even more concrete. I spend 30 to 45 minutes on Sunday evening reviewing the 141-page report that's titled, quote, Committee Revenue, and there's expenses in there too, Budget Report by Account Detail, close quote. Okay, that's the report, 141 pages. In this package, it's pages like 222 to 360. Interesting, useful information, but I'm trying to understand the big pieces of what's being presented in the accounting report for today, which we all rely on, but I could not find the total expenses. So maybe I just missed it. Very possible to make a mistake on my part. Went through it 2, maybe 3 times. I then asked a CPA in our office to take a look. Can you see it? We could not find the total expense number. I saw the total revenue, big one, total expense. Of all the things you worry about in a budget, I would think that that would be one. And I will give a quarter, a shiny quarter, to anyone in this room or online who can tell me what page that total expense line is. And maybe, again, maybe I missed it, but I'll give anybody a quarter if they can find it. And then,
can I raise that to 50 cents?
yes,
Yes.
it's worth 50 cents to me. Good, thanks, Cliff. Then the fourth question is on year-to-year comparisons. It ought to be done with the fiscal year and actuals tied out to the audited financial statements. And that's then in the ACFRs, the annual comprehensive financial reports. Then the interim is the adopted, and there's an interim financial statement. You compare the actuals from previous years and the previous years and the previous year against an adopted budget. There seems to be confusion in the presentation that amended budget is sometimes used versus adopted budget. Adopted budget is what's voted on and committed to by all the board members in their vote. The amended budget is what happens later when adjustments are made. And in at least a couple of years that I've taken a look at it, there's a $4 to $5 million difference in those. So if you're trying to get a solid comparison, if you flip back and forth from adopted to amend, it's just going to confuse people, either unintentionally or intentionally. So the number that should be used is the adopted. And again, there's a $5 million difference in 2025 alone. So, and again, on page 78 of a report, 2025 actual report, it cannot be what it's titled because 2025 is not complete yet.
What page?
Page 78 of some report. I can give you the sheet that I saw, but it can't be 2025 actual, maybe an asterisk by it, but the year isn't over yet. We usually, in this organization, wait 5-6 months before we have the final numbers. Maybe it would be titled forecast, but it was, let's see, budget worksheet report attached. So anyway, just one last question and I'll complete my report. Is what was the road fund reduced by? I've seen certain numbers, 2 million, 4 million, 6.5 million, 8 million. I think it's one of those numbers, but I don't know. And I would think that folks on the board would want to have that nice and solid. I haven't seen it reported nice and solid. Another when I read the Kane County Connects report of what the board did with the budget vote, it said that the 60% gas tax increase, a 60% gas tax increase, it said there was, it was adjusted gas. They adjusted the gas tax. No, we increased the gas tax by 60%. Anyway, it should be real straightforward kinds of descriptions of what's going on in the budget. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lawson. Moving on to the auditor's report, Ms. Wegman. Yes, Mr. Sanchez.
Mr. Lawson, I know there were some comments about the supplemental information. You said it's all relevant to, the finances of the county. So I guess my question, there's a couple that stood out to me that I was trying to find the connection. One, the headline says Chicago Public Schools Pride Guidance encourages teachers to host a Pride Week. The other article the headline is Barack Obama accused of destroying national landmark to build brutalist monument to himself. What is the connection there? I'm just trying to find that connection.
Good. If you'd refer me to the page that you're referring to, that'd be great.
They're page 86 and 87. They're right next to each other.
Okay. Okay. When we pay approximately, I think that it's somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000 a year per student. And that's the biggest portion of the property tax bill throughout Illinois. But in one circumstance in Chicago, and the statistic for reading academic performance is 16%, which means that 84% do not read at standard. Anything that distracts people, as I said before, distracts people, either hurts people in crime or distracts people from what you're in school for. You're in school to learn how to read, write, and then function, take care of yourself later on. It becomes an important thing that people ought to see. Well, there's only so much time in a day. If I devote it to other areas rather than reading and writing to fundamentals, 16%, all of us should recognize, and frankly, we should be upset that that's what folks focus their attention on, as if that's accomplishment. As far as President Obama and I served for 6 years together in the state Senate. We co-sponsored legislation on earned income credit, closely connected to work with former President Obama, and the idea of property values in Chicago and property values in King County. If there are improvements that damage areas as far as values, although some people would say, well, no gentrification, it becomes relevant. So this one is more a part of my journey for the last 30 years. I'm interested in what's occurred here.
Okay, I'm still kind of making that connection, but thank you for the explanation.
I think that you use a good, that one is an indulgence, that page.
Fair enough.
And again, if people would like to spend the 6 hours or the 6 days a week working on this and seeing the kinds of results that Illinois, the United States, and Kane County produce for us for all the money. People talk about affordability, and what brought me 32 years ago to serving in public office is that my wife and I built an accounting practice where we did 1,000 tax returns a year through a staff of 10 people. And I couldn't believe how much was taken versus then how it was spent. So that is something I have been committed to since the first day I walked onto the public service.
Thank you. And just one more comment, because this is something that I think is very relevant to this committee and the county's finances. And it's probably not likely to come up in a publication such as Wire Points, but it is the impact of the current immigration enforcement regime or paradigm that we're seeing, which is different than what we've seen previously. I know in my district, Carpentersville, largely Hispanic, all the Hispanic business owners that I know, they have said that business is way down. It's not just because, people who aren't documented citizens are afraid to go out in public. It's also their family who are legal residents. There is a lot of fear in the Hispanic community. It's happening in Carpentersville. My colleagues in Elgin have said the same thing. And so I know it's happening in Aurora. Little Village in Chicago, I believe is the second largest source of sales tax revenue in the state, next to the Magnificent Mile. And it is decimated out there. It's a ghost town. So I know Wire Points might not cover this, but it's maybe something for you to look into, to consider adding to your supplemental information, some of the impacts that the Hispanic community is seeing, and the lowering, the decrease of sales tax revenue coming from those areas. And that is going to impact our finances going forward. So I just wanted to leave with that. Thank you.
The way I do,
Mr. Sanchez.
I do
appreciate
agree.
Those comments, and I think they're very relevant.
and I would like to just, I certainly agree. I understand. I think that as I go through some of these, that I'll come across a cost of enforcement, and also the decrease in the commercial activity and the reactions to the enforcement that you're referring to, so that we don't have a disagreement on what you said.
Okay, very good. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we're going to move on to our auditor's report. Ms. Wegman?
Hello, good morning. We have a few different things on under our portion of the agenda today. So the first portion is the monthly report that is on file. I can address any questions that there may be regarding that information. Okay. The second thing that we have on our agenda is the Kane County travel policy audit. I do not have a presentation for this, but we did submit the audit through the packet, and it was distributed through everyone's email. We had some recommendations on there and some concerns, but am also able to address any questions or concerns regarding that audit.
And that's included in the agenda. Any questions from Ms. Wegman on that? Seeing none, go ahead.
Okay. The next item is a resolution approving personal expense voucher reimbursement requests.
Need a motion and second to discuss and hopefully pass.
Sanchez moves.
Juby seconds.
Sanchez moves, Juby seconds. The only comment I wanted to make about that was I noticed in the resolution that a number of these expense vouchers were not turned in within the 60-day required period of time, but that everything else was in compliance. And there was a batch of about 11 different expenses totaling $4,077.40. So I understand that sometimes things are not turned in a timely manner. Hopefully that won't happen anymore in the future. But at this point, everything else seems to be in order, as Ms. Wegman has stated in the resolution. So does anyone have any questions on this? Ms.
I
Juby?
just have a really quick comment. I see Michael's in here. They know not to do that, right? Okay, thanks.
Can I comment?
Anything else?
Can I say
Yes,
something?
Ms. Wegman?
So these personal expense vouchers are in front of you specifically because they exceeded the 60-day time frame. I don't have the authority to approve those on my own because they do go against what the county policy is in the travel policy. So that's why they're presented to you today.
Understood. Thank you for the explanation. If there are no other questions, I'd like to take the vote on this. And this is to approve those batch of 11 expenses that were turned in past the time limit that we require.
Juby?
Yeah.
Surges?
Surges, yes.
Pepe?
Pepe, yes.
Sanchez?
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes.
Francis.
Mr. Chair,
Resolutions approved.
did you do a
Mr.
motion?
Ruff?
Did you do a motion and
We
second?
did.
it?
We
Okay.
had a
all
motion
right.
second.
Mr. Chair, Surges,
Yes, Mr. Surges.
I had dialed in last week for a meeting. Hopefully it's my last one. But there were some complaints that you couldn't hear me. Has that been corrected?
You sound loud and clear today, so no problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ms. Wegman, you had one other resolution. Do you want to handle that or would you like me to?
You can go ahead and do that. That's fine.
Okay. The next resolution is just approving the October 2025 claims paid in the amount of $15,675,437.87. I need a motion and a second.
Sanchez moves.
Juby seconds.
Sanchez moves, Juby seconds. Any questions, comments, concerns on this? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll on this.
Juby.
Aye.
Surges.
Surges, aye.
Pepe.
Pepe, yes.
Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution's approved. Thank you very much. Mr.
Uh,
Sanchez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had actually a quick question on something we kind of passed over, the travel policy. Ms. Wegman, you gave a recommendation on at least an indication of the type of language changes that would be good to bring us up to date and compliant with IRS and other things. Is that something that this committee should initiate? And is your office interested in helping with that language, or what do you see there?
So when it comes to policy, the auditor's office doesn't have the authority to write policy for the county. I do think that I would recommend there be a visit of the travel policy. The only policy that I can write is policy for my office. And based upon our audits of the county's policy, we have rewritten our office policy. Traditionally, we do follow the county's policy. Makes sense for us to know it backwards and forwards and such, but we did rewrite our county policy. So while I wouldn't necessarily say it would be a complete fit for the county board or the county, I certainly can forward on the policy that was rewritten in our office that is more compliant with IRS under our interpretation, complies with the county code and the county policies. I certainly could forward that on for consideration or used as a template for the county board to consider. But that would be the extent of what I would be able to provide input on in regards to a policy.
So I don't know if we should kind of work on that or if that would be Human Services Committee.
You know, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Sanchez, I'd like you to talk to Ms. Wegman about this. Maybe the state's attorney's office also find out how we go about presenting a resolution to make changes, because obviously the auditor's department can't do it, but they are familiar with the IRS regulations and county ordinances. So if you two could work together with the state's attorney, I think we could bring something forward for a vote through the finance committee, then to executive, then to county board.
Okay, sounds good.
Anything else, Ms. Wegman?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the report. Our next report is from our finance director, Ms. Hopkinson.
Hello. Got a presentation. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So the highlights for the general fund general account is what we've been focusing on in terms of performance indicators. I added a column this month, 2025 forecast. So right now it looks based on best information that I have, that the general fund general account will end fiscal 2025 using close to $20 million in reserves. We're at 16.2. When I prepared this report last week, we still have expenses that are going to be coming in. Most of the revenue is in. We still have 2 months worth of some sales tax revenue that needs to be accrued and posted. But we had budgeted to use 27 million of revenue. Looks like we're going to use close to 20 million in revenue. why are we going to do a little bit better? Although using that much in reserves is not great. We have a little bit more revenue than than expected. Primarily that is in the area of sales tax revenue, reimbursements primarily in court services. They received almost $1 million more than budgeted. And then in chargers for services, the recorder of deeds and the county clerk, some of the fees that they collect are significantly higher than budgeted. So those are the areas where revenue is up. On the expense side, we're about 4% under. Primarily that is in salaries and wages. There's a few key departments that are trending right now much lower than expected. So that's what the general fund general account looks like. Next slide. Some of the key taxes, tax revenue, and this is across all funds. Sales tax revenue is up. This is state sales tax revenue. It's up over last year and it's up over budget. Local use tax revenue is down significantly from last year and from budget, and that is because of the change in the law. The RTA sales tax revenue, and again, this is across all funds. Right now, it's going into 4 different funds. It's up over last year and up over budget. So those are the key highlights there. Next slide. Just a trend of some of those key tax revenues. You can see that the sales tax revenue and the RTA sales tax revenues continue to trend upwards over time. Some of the other revenue generally is flat, although income tax is up slightly. Next slide. Based on the forecast that I just talked about on the general fund general account, we expect to end 11/30/2025 with around 60 million in reserves. And then based on the budget that was just adopted, plus the amendments that were made to that budget on the same day, which would use approximately 6.3 million in revenue. If in fact we do use 6.3 million in revenue, our total reserves at the end of 2026 will be probably close to like 55, 56 million. And again, just to point out, our general fund has 6 accounts. The ones in green, the general fund general account and the general fund special reserve are really the reserves that are what we call unassigned. They're not restricted. Some of the other amounts there's a domestic violence fund, an economic development fund, cost share drainage. They have very small amounts, and those are all restricted primarily for particular programs and our grants. I do also want to highlight, because you notice over time, all these amounts in these different accounts change. The general fund, the 2 green colors, the general account and the special reserve, the only reason that we have the money segregated into that special reserve is because the board decided to do that back around 2013. There was no state statute or county code that we have the money in 2 sub-accounts like that. It's just that's a board decision. I will say also that if our forecast holds true throughout the year, we have swings, of course, throughout the year when property tax revenue comes in. Property tax revenue comes in twice a year, in June and September, into our general fund. So the month right before, in May, the month right before June, we are at our lowest cash balance. So this past year, in May of 2025, we only had $19 million left in that general fund general account. Because we're down, our total reserves are down even more. There could be a scenario coming May 2026 where we might have to temporarily transfer some money from that special reserve into the general account so that it doesn't go negative. We'll see as we get closer, but I wanted to bring that to your attention. And that is my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions, Ms. Juby?
I just have a question on the report in the packet. In one of the, it's on page 214, but you talk about external grant applications. And I'm just curious why there is a $10,000 250th anniversary garden being drafted and a $15,000 250th anniversary garden grants being drafted. I don't understand why.
We were asked to work on those grant applications. For the
Why are
board
they different
office.
amounts?
Pardon me?
Why are they different amounts?
I think there's two separate grants.
Right, but we had only originally asked for 10,000 from Riverboat. I just didn't understand where the extra $5,000 came in the other grant from. I guess it's Kane Forest Preserve we're looking at.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have that information.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Hopkinson? Thank you very much. Appreciate the report. What I would like to do, if we could sometime, maybe within the next 30 days, is I'd like to get a very succinct one-page summary of our expenses and revenues that have been adopted and amended for 2026, showing the amount of reserves we're using, which I believe is about 6.3 million. However, that 6.3 million may be reduced because we are looking at utilizing some additional revenues that we can to balance our budget. So maybe lower than that. It could be as low as 3 million. But from everything that we've looked at so far, it looks like it's 6.3 before we make any other additional adjustments. And if we could put something together, maybe a one-page summary of just the basics. We don't need detail on every item, but I would like the basics: revenues, expenses, reserves used for 2026, so that we can give that to the public or make it available to them so they know exactly where we're at.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Moving on to new business. We have 3 resolutions. The first one's A, B, and C that are from the Public Defender, Court Services, and Judiciary. And all 3 of these resolutions have been handled before we got to this meeting in our amended budget. So all 3 departments, the Public Defenders, the Court Services, and the Judiciary, have asked that we table those or take those off the agenda. We weren't able to do that before the meeting, but if I could get unanimous consent from the Finance Committee, I'd like to remove all 3 of those from our agenda. Do I have any objection to that? Sure.
So if these have already been figured into the budget, how were they figured into the budget if we didn't adopt it and then do the amendment?
Well, it was in the amendment, the $3.1 million amendment. If you remember, we approved the adopted budget.
Okay,
and then
so
we amended-
it's not that we don't need to do this. We already did this by a
Already done.
previous
Yeah.
resolution.
These requests are no
right.
longer valid.
Okay, I just want to make sure it was by a
Sure.
previous resolution.
Very good
Okay.
question, Ms. Juby. Anybody else? Would you do a roll on this, Savannah, just to make sure everyone's in agreement to take these off the agenda? Well, I guess really we don't need a motion. So I just like unanimous approval if we could have it, Mr.
Yeah,
Sanchez.
I don't think there's any objection because you don't
Okay.
even have to call them up, really.
Well, I talked to State's Attorney's Office.
You know, but why don't we take them one by one and we'll vote to table each one and then you can get your roll call vote for each of yours and then we've dotted all our i's and crossed all our t's.
I mean.
I'm
know,
okay just giving consensus, Bill.
Yeah, I think, I talked to the State's Attorney's Office about this, and they said the easiest thing to do is just get unanimous consent.
Okay, you
Sanchez
just
asked for
said you
unanimous
wanted a
consent.
voice, a
Well,
roll
I know,
vote. Okay,
I thought maybe we had to, I made a mistake there. I
Okay.
apologize.
Just call each one up. Nobody make a motion. It dies.
All right, I'm gonna call each one up, and then if there's no motion or second, it's dead.
and we're stressing no one will make a motion. Talking to you, Mavis. No making motions.
She can anyhow. She's not on the committee. So anyhow, I'm going to handle the first resolution, which was authorizing a budget adjustment for the Public Defender's 2026 budget. I need a motion and a second. Seeing none, thank you very much. That will be taken off the agenda. Our next resolution is authorizing a budget adjustment for the court services for fiscal year 2026. That budget. I need a motion and a second on that. Thank you very much. That's taken off the
Feels
agenda.
rude, you know? Feels rude to just.
Pretty easy, isn't it? Our next and last resolution with respect to budget adjustments is for the judiciary for the 2026 budget. And I need a motion and a second. Seeing none, that is also removed from the agenda.
Mr. Chair, can we
Mr.
just
Duffy?
continue for the rest of the?
It would go a little more quickly, I'll tell you. Our next resolution on the agenda is approving the county board personal expense voucher in the amount of $128.60. This is a reimbursement request. I need a motion and a second on this.
Sanchez will move.
Juby seconds.
Sanchez moves, Juby seconds. Any questions, comments, concerns on
I
this?
do have a comment.
Yes, Ms. Juby.
At one time, we had talked about taking county cars because the reimbursement for gas is more expensive than it would be for us to take county cars. So at some point in time, I would like us to have more than just a conversation about that and maybe move toward an action that whenever possible, a county vehicle can be taken. I realize it's only a couple $100 a year, but it's still,
And it might be more than that.
it might be. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good suggestion and something we should move forward on and discuss. Ms. Juby, if you would work on coming up with something for the agenda on that, we would be happy to discuss and try to move
Just 'cause
that.
I brought it up doesn't mean I want to spearhead it, but yeah, I will do that.
Well, thank you very much. Mr.
Mr.
Roth.
Chair, Surges.
Let's.
Just a second.
No,
Mr.
let
Surgeon.
Surges go first.
Okay, go ahead. Mr. Surgeon, you go
Yeah,
first.
hey,
then Mr. Roth.
Leslie, as long as any action we're taking doesn't lead to, hey, now we have to go buy some, expensive SUV or something that, so people can take on their trips. If we're talking about a regular fleet car that's already there, but I would not be in favor of purchasing something special. Yeah.
I think that's a good point, Mr. Surgeon. And we're
Okay.
just talking about the available existing
Choosing
fleet.
the
Yeah, I just
vehicles we
want it on the
already
record.
Have. Yeah, no, Cliff, we're not getting new cars. It's okay.
But thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Roth.
Roth here. It will also help save us some money because we're not processing travel vouchers and also time of the county board, hopefully too, right?
There are a lot of benefits to Ms. Juby's recommendation, so I appreciate her moving forward on that.
Okay, thank you.
We discussed this a while ago. I tried to do it and it turned out I had to be like, there was quite a process for me to be allowed to take a car. So we need to understand that process better. I can't remember what it was.
I
You know,
think,
firstborn child, I can't remember, but
Ms.
I
Woods,
gave
I
up.
think that's a valid point, and that's something we'll discuss and see if it's too time consuming or expensive to do this. If it is, we won't do it, but if we can save money, we should look at
no,
it.
I think it's a good idea. We just have to understand that you can't like on Friday ask for, I mean, it would have taken me a couple weeks to.
Yes,
get
It's
the
all part of
paperwork done.
it's all
the
part of looking
process.
at the policy and the process. I mean, government entities all across Illinois do this all the time, every day. So it's not like we have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to find what fits with our
Yeah.
particular lack of vehicles.
Got a couple of cute little Chevy Volts and. small
sure.
cars.
Mr. Roth?
Part of that process is you have to get pre-approved that your driving record's okay. And I actually submitted that a couple months ago. And it took about 3 weeks to get the approval.
So, this is
So it's
something
just part
that
of the
there's more
process.
to it than just
Yeah.
simple approval. We have to look at all the ramifications of it, which we will. So thank you all for your comments. Now, we do need a vote on this expense voucher for $128.60 if there are no other questions. Seeing none, Savannah?
Juby,
Should be I.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Debbie, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution's approved. Thank you very much. Moving on to our next resolution. This is authorizing Magellan Healthcare Incorporated as Kane County's Employee Assistance Plan Provider for 2026. I believe there's a cost savings involved. I know we have Mr. Surges here. He might want to give some additional information on that. But before we do that, I need a motion and second on this.
Surges moves.
Surges
second.
moves.
Deputy second.
Deputy seconds. Any discussion, questions, comments? Mr. Surges?
If Ms. LaBelle, if Jamie's in the room, I would let her go ahead and comment. If not, I would just call the vote, please.
Okay, no, I don't see her in the room. She was earlier, but she isn't. Seeing no other comments or concerns on that, please call the roll on this, Savannah.
Juby?
Juby, I.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution's approved. Thank you very much. Our next resolution is authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with Jefferson County for juvenile detention services. This is a 3-year contract and it increases the revenue we receive from any children that are held in our detention center to $225 a day. I need a motion, a second to discuss.
Juby moves.
Juby moves.
Sanchez, second.
Sanchez seconds. Any questions, comments, concerns on this? Ms. Juby?
Just a comment that this is what we charge everyone. So we're probably going to be seeing more of these as we renew the contracts for the.
We've already seen about 10 of these
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll continue to see
As
them
they-
as they.
as they
get
negotiate
renewed.
the new
Right,
contract,
yeah.
and they come up at different
Right.
times, but you're absolutely right. And it is a 3-year contract. Any other comments, concerns? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll on this.
Juby?
Juby, I.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution is approved. Thank you very much. Our next resolution is authorizing a second extension in scope of work adjustment to professional service agreement for a 2026 recycling center and event staffing and operations. This is actually the Fabian location. I need a motion and a second to discuss and pass.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Juby seconds.
Juby seconds. Any questions, concerns, comments on this? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll on this.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution is approved. Thank you very much. Moving on to our next resolution, this is authorizing an agreement with the Village of West Dundee and eWorks Electronic Services Incorporated for operation of the West Dundee Recycling Center in 2026. The
Surges
cost-
moves.
Who was that?
Surges moves.
Surges moves. Need a second on
Sanchez,
this?
second.
Sanchez will second it. Any questions, comments, concerns on this?
We appreciate this.
Yes. Savannah,
welcome.
please do the roll call.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution is approved. Moving on to our next item, this resolution is approving fiscal year 2025 transfer of appropriation and budget adjustment for Fund 558 North Impact Fees, Fund 559 Central Impact Fees, and Fund 560 South Impact Fees, and Fund Number 300 County Highway in the amount of $123,000. I need a motion, a second to discuss.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves. Mr.
Deputy
Deputy
seconds.
seconds. Any questions, comments, concerns on this? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll on this.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution is approved. Thank you. Our next resolution is acceptance in use of a trust donation made to the Animal Control Center in the amount of $10,000. I need a motion and a second.
Sanchez
Deputy
moves. Sanchez
Sanchez
seconds.
moves, Tepe seconds. Any questions, concerns, comments on this? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll on this.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution's approved. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman Surges,
Yes, Mr. Surgeon.
I do need to step away for a few minutes.
Okay, that's fine. We've got enough votes for a few minutes. We can move ahead without you. Our next resolution is authorizing an execution of collective bargaining agreement for the Kane County Clerk. I need a motion and a second.
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves.
Tepe seconds.
Tepe seconds. Any questions, comments, concerns on this? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll on this.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Surges, Pepe,
Tepe, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution is approved. Moving on to our next two resolutions, L and M on our agenda. I'm going to do each of these separately, but what they are doing is they're authorizing an interfund loan for the payment of program expenses from the general fund for the Workforce Development Department in instances where the funding agreements or reimbursements are delayed by the state. I need a motion and a second on this.
Sanchez moves.
Tepe seconds.
Sanchez moves, Tepe seconds. Any questions, concerns on this? Seeing none, Savannah, would you please do the roll on this?
Juby,
Juby, I.
Sanchez is still away. I'm sorry, Surges is still away. Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution's approved. Thank you very much. Moving on to item N, this resolution is also authorizing an interfund loan for the payment of program expenses from the general fund for the Development Department in instances where funding agreements or reimbursements are delayed. I need a motion and a second on this.
Sanchez moves.
Tepe seconds.
Sanchez moves, Tepe seconds. Any questions, concerns on this? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll on this.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Surges away. Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution is approved. Our next resolution is amending Resolution 25-417. This is a gas and diesel fuel agreement with a small reduction in definition in that. Yes, sir, we have someone from the Transportation here Department. Let's get a motion in a second, then if there are any questions, we'll direct those to you, towards you. Motion in a second.
Sanchez moves.
Tepe seconds.
Sanchez moves, Tepe seconds. Any questions about this? Could you just give us a very brief overview of this?
Yeah, good morning. Michael Way from KDOT. So it's just amending the original resolution that passed county board. The original resolution had some wrong numbers for the price per gallon for delivery and different manufacturers that were delivering it. So it's just cleaning that up and making it good to go. It does not change the budgeted amount of fuel. It doesn't change the contract, anything of that. It's just my mistake. I put the last year numbers on this year's resolution. The only thing I will point out is we did get a negative 3 cents a gallon for gasol delivery. So Mansfield will actually be paying us to deliver our gas for 3 cents a gallon. That's because City of Aurora joined on to our bid this year. So they use more fuel and gas than we do. So they gave us a little discount on that.
Great. Any questions from Mr. Way? Seeing none, please do the roll on this, Savannah.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Surges,
Surges,
yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Resolution's approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Way. Moving on, our next two are ordinances, and they are abating the taxes heretofore levied for the year 2025 to pay debt service on the $7,670,000 general obligation alternate bonds. This is Riverboat Revenue Alternate Revenue Source, Series 2010 of the County of Kane of Illinois. Need a motion second to discuss?
Tepe moves.
Sanchez seconds.
Tepe moves, Sanchez seconds. Any comments, questions on this? Basically, just to give everyone a little clarification, and I may ask for Ms. Hopkinson to speak on this for a moment if need be, but what we do is we have to back up these payments with property taxes if we don't have adequate funding. We do have adequate funding to handle it, so we do not have to use any of the property taxes on it.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. That's why I wanted to mention. No, I'm
It's a
kidding.
good thing, yeah.
Yes. Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, Savannah, please do the roll call on this.
Juby,
Aye.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Ordinance is approved. Thank you very much. Our last ordinance is abating the taxes heretofore levied for the year 2025 to pay debt service on $13,130,000 of general obligation bonds. This is a series 2020 of the King County of Illinois. I need a motion and a second to discuss.
Sanchez moves.
Deputy seconds.
Sanchez moves, Tepe seconds. Any questions, comments on this? Please do the roll on this, Savannah.
Juby,
Juby, aye.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Deputy, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes. Ordinance is approved. Thank you very much. Is there any old business anyone wants to bring up or discuss or make a comment on? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second to place our reports on file.
Sanchez asked for unanimous consent to place the reports on file.
Any objection? Seeing none, reports are placed on file. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. I have no comments. Unfortunately, we have no need for executive session today, so I just need a motion and a second to
So
adjourn.
sad.
Sanchez moves to adjourn.
Juby seconds.
Sanchez moves, Juby seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.